Hello everyone, my name is Marcus and welcome back to World of Denmark. This is me playing in the IS-2, the Chinese version of the IS version line tanks. Mads is playing in the IS-2 Berlin, and you have John Harmon in the AMX AC-46 on Lakeville. And matchmaking was quite nice to us today because we are 3 of the 4 top tier vehicles on our team, and the enemy team is 4 tier 7s as well. And the rest is filled up with tier 6s and tier 5s. Now this is a very interesting game, because I was still grinding my IS-2 for the WZ 11111111114 and the 113. I've got the 110 now. You've seen some footage of that, I think 4 weeks ago with Receive. And I have to admit, I despised my IS-2. I did not like it. There's something about the tank that I just don't like. It's not slow, it has relatively good armor, its gun is really punchy. The thing is, it's a slow reload and the accuracy isn't great. But I can work with that on other tanks, but I just couldn't on the IS-2 for some reason. To be honest, it's a box standard 122mm 175 pen gun. If you've played the IS, the Russian one, you can play the IS-2 of the Chinese, and you can play the IS-2 Berlin. There are 3 of basically the same tanks. And that's something I don't really like, a 175 pen on a 122mm gun. It's a balancing feature. You cannot have 390 alpha with 240 pen, for example, a tier 7 or possibly a tier 8 premium matchmaking tank. And that's where kind of the troubles start for me. I grew up with playing the Tiger P and the Tiger. I'm used to like 200mm of penetration. And then suddenly I get this big fat derpy gun with 30 less penetration, and I'm just there like, why can't I pen stuff? So I overcompensate with heat. And to be honest, I had the same problem playing the IS like 2 years ago. I couldn't pen stuff with 175 penetration because I'm just used to YOLOing shots in with my Tiger gun. So yeah, that's why you might see me shoot all my heats this game, because I am a bastard. Yeah, also the reason my voice is a bit is because I am still pretty tired from Tankfest. I'm recording this the day after I came back. I shouldn't be doing that, but I have to make a video for Thursday. And I have to make it today on the Tuesday, because on Wednesday I'll not be home for quite a big part of the day. And on Thursday I can't really make a video if I have to release it at around 12. I can make it later on the day, but I won't be able to do that because, well, if you're watching this on Thursday, today is my birthday. I turned 23 today. Whoop-de-doo, I'm old. Yes, today is my birthday like 23 times in a row. It's on the 30th of June. I will be there for the stream tonight with QB. I will be home. I ate dinner with my family. Well, this is weird for me because I'm going to eat dinner tonight with my family on the Tuesday. But if I say it on the Thursday, it means that I had dinner with my family on Tuesday. And I ate a lot of steak. A lot. You can order a steak that's like 1 kilogram where I'm going to go. So that's probably what I'm going to do. It's going to be absolutely glorious. So yeah, I will be there tonight for the stream. I expect a lot of presents from artillery during the stream, so that's going to be glorious and fun. But I don't want to babble on too much about it being my birthday. It happens every single year. I haven't celebrated in like 10 years, so that's all good. Yeah, Tankfest. Just came home yesterday after a long trip through the southern part of England, and then waiting on the airport at Heathrow, and then having the most glorious flight home. We were slightly delayed again, because it happens when you depart from London. A lot of planes waiting to take off from this one runway. But I was all fine. I don't mind sitting in an airplane and flying. It's the people around me. I was in the seat after the sort of economy comfort, so people in front of me had more leg room, so they suddenly think that behind them there's also more space between the seats when there isn't. So immediately, like 4 minutes after takeoff, this dude in front of me just slams his seat back. So I had even less space there, which was enjoyable and fun. The person to the left of me, well, that's not really his fault, but he was more built. He was a big man. So he took up quite a lot of space to the left of me, which means I had to stick to the right of me, close to the window, which I didn't mind. Like, it's not his fault for being slightly chubby. What I did really dislike was the person behind me. For some reason, he wasn't even that tall, but he likes to slouch in his seat, so he pushed his knees the whole flight home into my back. Luckily, the flight was 45 minutes, and I enjoyed the view coming over the North Sea, and then over my house. I saw my house from the sky from the flight back. It's always nice to have a good view on your area where you live. I liked it. It was nice. It was pretty. I actually saw my house as well coming out of Amsterdam towards London, but I don't want to talk too much about all of that. I want to make 2 Tankfest videos. A Tankfest vlog that is just edited to the way that, you know, as I would make a vlog. And then a second video with commentary and pausing the video and telling stuff around it. And I'm not sure how long the video is going to be. I've started editing it. I've basically made the intro for it, and that is 6 minutes already. Yeah, I did film quite a lot. Sadly enough, my battery ran out on the Sunday filming the Tunisia 1943 tiger capture reenactment, so that's a bit of a bummer, so I couldn't really record that. I suggest you go to Jingles' channel for his Tankfest 2016 video and watch that part if you'd want to. Quickie Baby's probably going to release a video on Tankfest as well. I'm not sure if he will do that. He filmed some bits of that as well. I suggest go to Jingles, watch that part if you really want to. And we were quite lucky with the weather actually at Tankfest. Yes, it had rained. It rained for some bits during Tankfest, but it was mostly dry. Sadly enough, it wasn't actually sunny like last year, so all the footage of the tanks is not in the sun, sadly enough, but a bit of cloudy, overcast, which is basically the same word, cloudy and overcast. So, English language, what you gonna do? Yeah, we were quite lucky actually. On the Saturday it was mostly dry. Just after Quickie Baby's meet and greet with his fans, it started raining. And I mean tropical rain. Rainforest type of rain. Torrential rain. It didn't end. It was harsh. It was extremely wet. And we all ran into the Vehicle Conservation Center. And hit there. I talked to Sircon for quite a bit while there. I think he was quite surprised to suddenly hear a Dutch voice talking to him out of nowhere, but hey, everything's cool. Talked to some wargaming people as well, quite a lot of wargaming people. I gave Hector a hug because it was his last event at Wargame, and I talked to Flan, I talked to Invino, I talked to Alexi. There are quite a lot of nice people at Wargaming, but they are the community people. It's almost their job to just be happy and smiling towards everyone that talks to them. And they have to be there 9 hours a day for 2 days. So 18 hours of standing there smiling and happy and waving and shaking hands. And I'm pretty sure they're going to have to basically burn their hands after shaking all the hands they've shaken at Tankfest. Just like Quickie Baby, just like Jingles, just like Rita, just like Sircon, just like Pointy Haired Jedi, and every other community contributor that had to shake a lot of people's hands. Because they want to meet them. People want to meet their community contributors. That's one of the reasons why people go to Tankfest. And I'm not going to lie, I did shake hands with Sircon, I did shake hands with Pointy Haired Jedi, with Jingles, and with Rita. Also, a lot of people recognized me. Not a lot of people. Because my face is not really known from, you know, a stream somewhere. Because I don't have a face cam anywhere. But I did meet a few people there at Tankfest. It was quite fun. Always quite interesting because I go there to sort of see the tanks and do the things that people do at Tankfest. And then I still have to get used to like the fact that people want to talk to me as well. So that's kind of weird. It is fun but weird. I'm a normal human being, a human. But that people want to like talk to me and take pictures with me. That's the weird part. That's something I don't quite know how to do yet, but don't get me wrong, there weren't like hundreds of people wanting to take a picture and shake my hands. There were like a few dozen, but that doesn't mean that it isn't weird. And I severely doubt that I will reach the point where people want to shake my hands like standing in a row waiting to meet me. That will probably never happen, and I'm okay with that, because that will be a scary happening. However, the QSF people that were there literally swarmed me the moment they saw me at Tankfest. And this game is slowly coming to an end. I got killed next to the church by a VK. Mads killed him. John got killed earlier on. And Mads, if you were paying attention, was 1 versus 5 when he made his so many kill. I don't know, I lost number. I lost count. But he kills the 82 because the 82 doesn't know how to point his gun towards enemy tanks. His strongest armor is on the front, not the side. But that's okay because Mads only has to deal with a Dicker Max now, and the Dicker Max was on very, very low health. Mads doesn't even really have to shoot him, he can drive past him and the Dicker Max would die. Problem is, Mads is a one-shot for the Dicker Max as well. The Dicker Max has a 320 alpha gun, quite a long reload, got a lot of gun depression, so it is give or take if Mads is going to outplay him or not. Give or take. To be honest, Mads will probably outplay him. The thing is, he has to get the first shot in and not the Dicker Max. But would a Dicker Max be aiming this way, or towards the church, because Mads did act as if he was going back towards the church when he killed the AT-2. He's not to the left of us. Instead, yes, Mads carried John and I to basically his perfect game in the IS-2. He got a Color Battles medal, Radley Walters, he aced it, all the good stuff. He made credits because it was a premium tank. He carried my scrub ass. That's basically what happened. And here he is again playing in the Skoda TVP T5051, the most recent tier 10 tank in World of Tanks, and a lot of people consider it to be overpowered. And I cannot really agree to a certain degree, because it doesn't have the clip potential to completely ruin a tank. The Batchat, for example, has the clip potential to absolutely destroy one tank if he singles it out. The TVP doesn't. It has 1280 clip potential, which means he has to go in, empty its clip, pen all its shots, run out, wait 23 seconds, and then go back in again, and hopefully that has to be enough to kill it, which it isn't for really heavily armored, big fat stupid heavy tanks like the E100 or the Type 5 Heavy. And yes, there are only a very small amount of tanks that can actually survive 2 clips from the TVP. The problem that people have with the TVP is the fact that it unloads its clip in 4.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds between each shot, which means if they get shot at and they are close to cover, they will take at least one more shot, if not 2, before they are back into cover, because the reaction time of a normal human being, is somewhere between half a second to a second, which means that you get shot at, you think, oh, what is shooting me? From what direction? What is shooting me? It's a TVP. Oh crap, I have to pull back. Then the second shot already comes in before you think that. So then you click the button to pull back, and your tank has to start moving. If you're in a slow fan heavy tank, that can take some time, so you can take a third shot. If you're in a fast medium tank or a light tank, you can get out. But that's the problem. You take about 600 to 900 damage before you are actually into cover. That is the problem that people have with the TVP. It unloads too fast, and that I have to agree with. 1.5 seconds between shots is quite fast. If you compare it to the Batchat unloads its clip in 13.5 seconds. 2.7 seconds between shots. So the TVP can put 2 shots in for every single time the Batchat can fire 1 shot. So you have 390 alpha versus 640 at that point. But in the long run, the Batchat is stronger, it is faster, it is a smaller profile, it has more angled armor if you think about it, even though it's really thin. It can completely demolish a single tank. Think about 390 alpha times 6, that is 2340 damage in one clip. And that is the difference between the Batchat and the TVP. The TVP is a second line sniper. It deals a lot of damage from behind the first line of heavy tanks, and then when it sees a gap, it goes in, assassinates a whole bunch of people, and then runs out again. The Batchat is different. The Batchat cannot be a sniper. It doesn't have the aim time, it doesn't have the accuracy, it doesn't have the shots between, or the reload between shots. It can be, but you won't do as much damage as the TVP. What you are in the Batchat is you are a true full-bred assassin. You single out one single tank, run circles around it while you track it and shoot it, and then run out again. And you keep doing that, you keep doing that, you keep doing that. The TVP cannot do that. The TVP is a late game assassin. The Batchat is just a full-bred assassin. That's what the Batchat does. It also has a really good camo rating, so you can be a spotter. The Batchat is almost a tier 10 light tank for half of the game. And then it's assassin. So that's the difference between the Batchat and the TVP. The people that are complaining that the TVP is overpowered now are also the people that complained that the Batchat was overpowered when it got released almost 4 years ago, if I remember correctly. The Batchat was the only autoloader tier 10 in World of Tanks at that point, and people were outraged. They hated the tank. They were thinking it was complete and utter bullplop that one single tank could almost kill an entire tank on the enemy team if it singles it out. There's a difference between the Batchat though and the Waffenträger, because the Waffenträger has 560 alpha and a 6-round autoloader clip, which can turn into a 5-round autoloader clip. The Batchat was 390. So the Batchat can only kill one single tank and then run out again. Hopefully it will survive. The Waffenträger LV100 that is replaced by now, luckily, could almost kill 2 tanks out of its clip. But there is a difference. The Waffenträger of E100 could snipe. It had a really accurate gun. The Batchat simply cannot snipe. It doesn't have the penetration. Well, it does have quite good penetration, just not good enough. But it certainly does not have the accuracy. So with the Batchat, you have to go in and shoot someone. And then you run the risk of dying. You have to really make sure you can go in and assassinate the tank. If there's someone close to him, yeah, well, you're gonna get tracked probably. You're gonna take a lot of shots and you're going to lose a lot of health. There goes your next run where you have to assassinate another tank, because you can't. The Batchat is a sneaky assassin. And I'm pretty sure you all thought that Matt was going to lose some health while falling down this cliff. He didn't, luckily for him. But we have the same situation as last game. The WZ-120 just killed the last 2 RT on his team. Mads is once again 1 versus 5. This is going to be an interesting game, isn't it? On the plus side of this situation, 2 of the enemy tanks are artillery. So that means he has to basically deal with 3 actual tanks and then has to keep moving when he is spotted. 2 of those 3 remaining enemy tanks are really slow, heavily armored tanks. Which means he has to really only care about the WZ-120 chasing him, because the T-28 prototype and the KV-4 cannot chase him. So if he sees either one of those really heavily armored slow tanks, he can run away quickly, get behind some cover, and hopefully gain some distance between them. The WZ-120 can chase him and put some accurate shots into him, and basically chase him out into the open where enemy tanks could be waiting for him, and possibly RT. The WZ-120 can follow him and keep him spotted for RT as well. He really only has to care about that WZ-120, but instead he completely ignores my advice that he can't hear, because his post-game commentary, he kills the T-28 prototype and RT misses him. He only really has to care about still that WZ-120. If he spots the KV-4, good on to him, but he really has to be careful. He cannot just run out into the open. So he sits in the bush right here, right now, and see if he can see the KV-4. He can't. So that probably means the KV-4 is still in their base or slowly trundling towards his base. Or maybe he is like defending artillery. But where is that WZ-120? He has to watch out though, because this KV-4, the M53-55 and the WZ-120 are all really competent players. But that doesn't mean that the Batchat 155-58 isn't an issue, because that's an autoloader artillery. If Mads gets spotted, that Batchat will fire. And then after 6 seconds he will fire again. So Mads really has to be careful. If he sees 1 RT shot landing, there could be even more following. 4 to be exact. It could be the M53-55 and then 4 shots from the Batchat, but you can completely ignore what I just said. He finds the KV-4, kills him, and then kills the WZ-120, who stayed close to the KV-4, which was an incredibly good play by the WZ-120. They were probably communicating and saying stick together, because he is a TVP and he can kill all of us. And that's exactly what Mads did. Now he's 1 versus 2 against the artillery. And he was incredibly lucky that that M53-55 didn't hit him and only splashed him for a minimal amount of damage. His tracks got blown off, so he had to sit there because he already used his repair kit, waiting for the Batchat to land its shot, which never happened. And now we know why. That Batchat was on his way to the cap circle to cap it out. Which is an interesting play by the Batchat. It isn't necessarily wrong, but he did go out on his own to cap it out. At least we think so. That M53-55 landed a shot, which seems to be coming from their base. So the KV-4 and the WZ-120 stayed together. The Batchat went on its own adventure. If the Batchat stayed with his artillery, he would have probably killed Mads, but because he was driving, he wasn't aimed, he wasn't set up for an ambush or anything. He was gunning for the cap circle. So he casually kills the Batchat, who doesn't spot Mads, and now he turned a 1 versus 5 situation into a 1 versus 1. He got his Pools medal, he probably got his high caliber. To be honest, I think this is a very low damage game for a 10 kill, possibly 11 kill Kolobanovs. Mads, stop spit-pitting and stop kicking poopies. But we sort of kinda know where that M53-55 is. He landed a shot close to Mads, and it came from the enemy base. Now the M53-55 is not a slow artillery piece, it is quite fast. But he did see that Mads killed the Batchat, and he doesn't know from where. So if that M53-55 drives and he sees Mads appearing on his side, he is a dead man. If he is driving and he finds Mads behind him, he is a dead man. If he's driving and the M53-55 knows he gets spotted because of 6th sense and he doesn't spot Mads, he is a dead man. The best thing that Artie can do right now is probably huddle up in K1, set up a defense, an ambush. If he has binoculars and a camo net, set them up and wait. So that's probably what the artillery is going to do. Probably gonna sit there in the corner, set up his binoculars and wait for Mads to push into his cap. That is a really good position as well, because it is quite bushy, it has quite a lot of trees. Mads doesn't have full view range, so he has to come quite close to spot him. Mads can actually reload a high explosive clip at this point. The high explosive damage on one shell is 420, the M5355 is 450 health. So one shot can kill the RT if it pens him, but it can roll low. Then he needs the second shot, and he doesn't want to take the risk. With the APCR he has 2 guaranteed pens if it shoots it anywhere but the outside of the track. So Mads with high explosive has the chance of one-shotting him, or can play it safe and take 2 shots. There's only 1.5 seconds delay between the shots, so Mads is going to take the risk and keep the APCR. Ah, that's anticlimactic. He wins it.